The other day I made a video about the Lakers getting D'Angelo Russell, and then a couple hours later this happens, and who fucking cares about D'Angelo Russell as soon as this news breaks? And this whole trade deadline, man, we were treated to some fantastic entertainment via Twitter, brought to you by Woj and Shams, but there were no movements nearly as significant as this one, with KD moving from Brooklyn. A lot of people had a feeling that he'd be out of there. I predicted he wouldn't get moved. I didn't really think teams had the perfect package, but apparently Brooklyn was inclined and certainly desperate to move on from this previous completely failed Big Three thing, and so they can just build around Ben 10. So the Phoenix Suns have jumped a little bit in terms of their championship odds, and a lot of people might be wondering, why are they not number one with this team? I mean, you take two important players off of the team that won 64 games last year, maybe three. We count Jay Crowder, he hasn't been playing all year, and the Suns team has not been the same Suns team of last year. Yes, they have had injury issues, but even when they were fully whole, there were definitely some warning signs in games that indicated that maybe their window for contention has closed. Maybe it just was a little flash in the pan, one season wonder or two season wonder. Chris Paul is too old. Ayton is not serious. He's not a dog. Devin Booker can't do it all by himself. And even if the Suns team, the previous one, not the current one, but even if Mikal Bridges and Devin Booker and Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton and Cam Johnson were all playing on this team going into the playoffs, nobody was taking these guys seriously, especially after how they went out last year. In a Western Conference full of competition, and now an absolutely loaded conference that we have to assume the Suns are the favorite in, but by no means a lock or a shoo-in to be playing in the NBA Finals this year, and I'll tell you guys why. It's a lot harder to get out of the West this year than it is to get out of the East. The East is now a two-team race. If the Nets had somehow kept this team together and Kyrie didn't have a little fit or whatever, if they had gone into the playoffs with this team, they may have had a horse in the race. But I'm sorry, nobody's taking Philly seriously. No one's taking the Cavs seriously. If one of those two teams ends up in the finals, I will gladly eat my words. But if the Bucks and the Celtics are fully healthy, it's going to be one of these two teams, point blank. No one's going to knock them off besides each other, and I am very confident in that fact. Whereas in the Western Conference, it is so chaotic, especially now. After this trade deadline, so many teams got better. New news with the Warriors breaking about Gary Payton's physical, and he might not be actually in a Warriors jersey, and he might have to go back to Portland. It's absolutely crazy. I mean, this was a big role guy to add to a team that needed more perimeter shutdown defense and a valuable contributor to last year's championship ring. James Wiseman is contributing absolutely nothing to this team, and especially going back to a team that now he knows tried to get rid of him, successfully got rid of him for at least a day or two. Crazy stuff. But the Warriors have the experience, and the personnel still have to be taken extremely seriously. Even the Lakers, this is a team that's in 13th right now. They got to get their shit together and win some games, but if this team has everybody healthy, nobody wants to play these guys. Dallas Mavericks, I know they don't have the greatest perimeter defense in the world, far from it. They're going to have some struggles there. Can they establish the chemistry needed to make a run? I don't know. But listen, all I know is that nobody wants to guard these two guys. Nobody. The best defenders in the Western Conference are terrified of this duo. That's a team you just have to outscore. How about the Denver Nuggets? Not doing much to trade deadline besides trading away Bones Highland, acquiring Thomas Bryant. A marginal move. Maybe this team is not perfect, but certainly they have as good of a chance as anybody, maybe besides the Suns. And here's the thing with the Suns. The continuity, the chemistry. They have to build that. It's not going to be as simple as just having stars on the court, and they're going to be able to mesh and play together and play well seamlessly. If there is any sort of trouble getting these guys acclimated with each other, they're going to be beaten by a team that just has more experience. They're going to be beaten by a team that just knows how to play with each other. And maybe the fit here isn't great. Now, I highly doubt this will be the case because Chris Paul, one of the greatest leaders in the sport and has been for a while, even if he's not contributing on the level that he may have 5+ years ago, even 2 years ago, even a year ago before he turned, I think, 37. That was the curse, or as soon as he turned 37, he started playing like he was 57. So there's no reason why the Suns shouldn't be able to figure out how things work from an offensive perspective, but they do lose their best defensive player in Mikal Bridges. They do lose a guy who is just as steady and reliable as they come in his role. Cam Johnson, absolute sniper, and absolutely helps this team space the floor. This team does not have the same floor spacing. They have Kevin Durant instead. I understand you may rather have Kevin Durant in general than simply have floor spacing, it is a rational decision, but at the same time, nobody on this team is going to heave 3-point shots. And this, I don't know if I would say it's been a problem. I mean, the Suns designed their team in an interesting way around two guys who primarily got their baskets in the mid-range, Chris Paul and Devin Booker, and I think the Dallas Mavericks were a team that was able to crack that code and really figure out how to neutralize that and make these guys uncomfortable. With Kevin Durant, now you have three guys that are going to be relentlessly attacking that mid-range. I think the first two guys are a lot easier to contain than Kevin Durant, who is a top 5 player in the NBA. He's going to help them on defense as well. He's going to have to shoot more threes, I think. Someone's going to have to shoot more threes. Booker and KD are going to have to be more active behind that 3-point line, playing off each other. It's just going to make it easier for defenses to condense the floor if these guys aren't going to be taking threes at a high clip. Also, of course, in playoff basketball, we see the 3-point shots, they don't always fall as much, and it's a reason why the best players in our game have patented that mid-range jump shot, is because it's just easier to make under duress when every shot is going to be contested. You're playing against more physical defenses, your legs are a little bit more tired, you're closer you get to the basket, it's just easier to make shots. Who would have thought? So the Phoenix Suns, Luka says they're probably got to be the favorite in the West. There's going to be a ton of pressure here. We know Kevin Durant is used to creating super teams, jumping from super team to super team. Would I call this a super team? I don't know. I mean, I think it probably just depends on how much you value a guy like DeAndre Ayton or just Chris Paul at this point in time. I mean, we can acknowledge the greatness of Devin Booker and obviously Kevin Durant. Does this team have anything else besides these 4 guys? I mean, Torrey Craig is going to play a lot. He's going to be a key guy as that shutdown defender, but he's not really a floor spacer type. Fit is important. Monty Williams, he's going to have his work cut out for him to make sure that this thing can work. But I think if you're going to do something like this is as good of a time to do it in a Western Conference where, like I've been saying, there is no clear-cut favorite. This makes them the favorite in the Western Conference. The Suns, they give up a lot. A lot of teams doing this buying stuff, just trying to go all in, saying we've got the star power. We can do it in a Western Conference where, like I've been saying, even the Warriors, not having nearly the season that would match up with their expectations, and we have to assume that they'll be on their best behavior in the playoffs, but some teams are going to be in that play-in spot that shouldn't be, that we just would never expect, and every round of the playoffs, it's going to be weird. Even the Suns, where are they going to end up in seeding? Who knows? Kevin Durant's not coming back for a while, so your team is depleted. You are missing depth. You are missing shooting. They might struggle to win games in the wake of Kevin Durant for the next couple weeks and might end up in the play-in. I mean, who knows? So that's why this Western Conference is so fascinating, with teams like the Suns, the Lakers potentially being play-in teams. The Lakers, I mean, they'll be lucky to be a play-in team at this point because that's pretty much the best they can do. If they end up ahead of the 7th seed, that would be incredibly unprecedented, just with where they find themselves at this point, still in 13th place. Of course, now they have the personnel to kind of make up that ground, but man, they're going to have to get to it. Only about 25 games left in the season, I think, so man, we're kind of coming into the home stretch a little bit. Man, these games are going to get more and more important, especially for these Western Conference teams, and the seeding is going to be crazy. The first round series are going to be nuts. Let me know what you guys think about the Kevin Durant trade. I gotta be honest, I would not bet on them to win the NBA Finals at this point, because how much time are these guys really gonna have to establish who they are? Especially when you get into the playoffs, identity is so key in chemistry. Certain teams just know who they are. I think I would favor maybe a Denver Nuggets team just for the sake of that. So that's gonna do it. Let me know what you guys think. Peace.